Hey, everyone. We're angels. We're angels.
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down the Nakatomi Tower at the Christmas party. And the terrorists were overzealous, but it was sweet when they killed Ellis. And with a little help from Alan, John McClane kicked ass.
Welcome back to Shat The Movies, the podcast where we answer the question, were the movies we loved when we were growing up really that good? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't they make movies like they used to? Can you still remember spending your Friday night searching for the perfect movie rental at Blockbuster Video? Do you know what Blockbuster Video is? If you answered yes, then this is the podcast for you. I'm one of your hosts, Gene Lyons, and alongside me is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Ain't love grand.
Each week, we take a look back in time and decide if our favorite films still hold up. The movies we cover are chosen by you, the listeners, who generously commission the films you love. If you like to see all the movies we have covered, will cover, want to choose one for yourself, please visit shatpod.com and have a look. At the end of each podcast, we'll provide you, the audience, with the number of wipes each movie take to get off your respective butts. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and share with a friend. It's how we help the podcast grow. Additionally, subscribe to our sister podcast, Shat on TV. Review TV series such as Westworld, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, True Detective, Lovecraft Country, and Watchmen. Find all information or past episodes at shatpod.com/TV. And finally, if you'd like to hang out with us live, follow and subscribe to our Twitch channel, shatpod.com/Twitch, and our YouTube channel where we play video games, host watch parties, and edit this podcast live. All that being said, Big D, what movie are you reviewing today?
Gene, tonight's film is a unique situation. For the last, I don't even know if it's 5-6 years, we've been blessed to have our listeners commission films that were important to them. And along the way, we've met a lot of generous listeners who took it upon themselves to, whether it was Emmett from Orange, to commission a film for a child, our only PG or G-rated review. We've had multiple people step up and donate to charities for both you or that I was, near and dear to my heart. So a while back, Mike had listened to voicemails from our great listener, Tom from Crane, Texas. And I want to specify, Tom is not an older gentleman like we've said before. I don't want him to get angry.
And he no longer lives in Crane, Texas.
Where is he now? I'm going to write this down.
Tom lived in Crane, Texas. Now he is in Midland, Texas.
Needless to say, so it was one of our great listeners, Mike M., had heard a voicemail from our great non-senior listener, a very young man, Tom, from Midland, Texas, who is voicemailed a bunch of times about movies he'd liked. We've reviewed some for him, but he's also fallen on some hard times. Like many Americans, Gene, he's struggling to get by. So Mike took it upon himself to become a philanthropist, a shat philanthropist, or whatever we want to call him. And he started the Tom Texas Endowment Fund. And this was for listeners who, for whatever reason, can't come up with the support to help the podcasting at a commission. And he said, whatever Tom wants. So Tom, a few weeks ago, left us a voicemail with a few options, and one of them stood out as the clear choice, a film that we're long overdue for reviewing. It was in my little spiral notebook that I had listed my top films when I was in the Army that I wanted to watch or own. So it's about time. We're going to do it tonight for Tom and for Mike. And it is the 1988 American science fiction action horror film, They Live.
And Mike, who commissioned Harry and the Hendersons in memory of his mother, wrote in and said that he wanted to give something back to others. His entire life, his parents made sure to pass along the importance of giving back. He says, when my wife told me that she wanted to give me the gift of movie commissions for my Father's Day present, I knew I wanted to pass that gift along to someone else too. And that person had to be Tom. Having had the pleasure of going back to listen to the podcast from the first episode forward, hearing Tom's different voicemails and updates have always made me smile. I know I am fortunate that my family has the ability and additional funds to allow us to contribute to the Shat community by commissioning, and I know that not everyone is always as fortunate. As such, for my third commission, I wanted to create the Tom from Crane, now Midland, Texas Endowment Fund to pass along the gift of a movie commission. I hope to commission a few more movies of my own again soon, and I look forward to contributing to the fund again. Regarding the movie itself, if I recall correctly, in his last voicemail, Tom had mentioned the desire to have They Live reviewed. When I heard that, I nearly fell out of my chair at work. Just at that time, I had the pleasure of appearing on a friend's podcast. That podcast was Ring the Damn Bell, an amateur podcast about wrestling. The episode I had the pleasure of appearing on was from June 4th, 2025, and focused specifically on wrestling and movies. One of the movies we spent time talking about was They Live. It just seemed like the universe was coming and connecting everything together. To Tom, I say thank you for being a part of the Shat community. Though I've never met you, please know that you have brought joy to me, and my world is a better place because of you. Enjoy the commission, and to Big D and Gene and all the other hosts and guests over time, thank you for bringing us all together. Mike, Tom really has become an institution at Shat The Movies. And I'm so glad you give him his propers, give him his respect. And Tom, if you're out there listening, we really, really appreciate you. Mike, we appreciate you. And we appreciate this whole family. Selfishly, I was very excited when you chose They Live, Tom and Mike, when you commissioned it, because we are now getting back into my wheelhouse. Subversive cult classics that regularly get screened at industrial clubs, that show up all over pop culture. Conspiracy theorists, anti-media types, anti-capitalists, horror fans, wrestling geeks, everybody's coming together, all the weirdos in the house tonight. There's even something for the Family Guy crowd. I couldn't be more excited about this commission.
I as well. When Tom picked this, I think I said yes. I almost didn't have to hear the other movies because I've always been a sucker for John Carpenter. I love the style. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get a pew and a lens flare. We didn't get that, but his style's great. He's got a signature look, the lighting. It makes his movies instantaneously recognizable. We've done a bunch. We did Halloween's. We did The Mouth of Madness. We did The Thing. We've done Christine. Love his films, and I love that he does the soundtrack. There's a handmade nature to his films. You can feel the love, and you can feel his fingerprints all over it. So when this came up, it was the clear choice. And Carpenter is one of those directors that can take a small budget and stretch every dollar. All of his films share that. So I was excited to go back and watch this for both Tom and Mike. And we'll see. Hopefully it stands up.
They Live is a 1988 science fiction action horror film written, directed, and scored by John Carpenter. Starring Roddy Piper and Keith David, it was based on the 1963 short story 8 o'clock in the morning by Ray Nelson, which follows a working-class drifter, played by Piper, who discovers that the ruling class are camouflaged aliens. Carpenter said the themes of They Live stemmed from his dissatisfaction with the economic policies of then U.S. President Ronald Reagan, as well as what Carpenter saw as increasing commercialization in both popular culture and politics. They Live was a minor success upon release, debuting at number 1 at the North American box office. It initially received negative reviews from critics who lambasted its social commentary, writing, and acting, but it later gained a cult following and experienced a significantly more favorable critical reception. Let's hit the trailer.
From John Carpenter.
Wake up! They're all about you, all around you.
They have the good cars and the best jobs.
They're running the whole show.
They control what we see and hear.
We have been lulled into a trance.
They control our very thoughts.
Take a look. Stay away from me!
They're not of this world.
Look at them, they're everywhere!
John Carpenter's They Live. Rated R.
Nada is a homeless man who travels to Los Angeles in pursuit of work. He spots a preacher warning that they have recruited the rich and powerful to control humanity. Nada finds a job at the construction site and befriends his coworker Frank, who invites him to live in a shanty town where he meets their community leader, Gilbert.
When you have endless money, you can make any bad decision that you want. You're never forced to take a second and think about it. A lot of the things that work for this film, it may have been a necessity. It may be that it wasn't their first choice, but you got to make it work. When you don't have money for your horror film, you go out to the Halloween shop and you have the costume designer and the special effects artist go pick some masks. Get a clown, get a William Shatner mask, and you make it work, right? So there's some of that bleeds into the film that I love. It starts off, and we got to make a $3 million budget stretch. You got to eat up time on screen. So it starts off super slow. It's like 8 minutes that we just get the Roddy Piper. He gets the Sylvester Stallone first blood treatment where he's just walking alone. He's a loner. He's got his backpack on. He's walking through LA. There's no big action. There's no exposition jump. It's just this moody music. Cameras observing him. You're seeing the unemployment. You're seeing the rundown buildings. You're seeing people glued to their TVs. It's the general decay of the city. And it feels like Carpenter. He's just warming up the engine. He's saving money, which is a key one. And he's just waiting for it to kick in. And that music, it was like, it was like a prelude to the main theme that I was waiting to kick in. And I think the patience worked. It saved money and it got us into the world very efficiently.
I don't know what that music was you just did. That wasn't the music from this movie. And calling it moody music is a bit generous. Like, we know John Carpenter loves to do his own soundtracks, and They Live is no different. But he really phoned this one in. The entire movie is just one bass line, and it goes like this, Big D.
I want to hear it.
Do 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 do.
Oh.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And then occasionally there'll be like some 80s synth over it. Which he loves to do. Not quite pew, but do 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 do. It was basically the musical equivalent of Roddy Piper's Dad Jeans. It felt worn in. You kind of liked it. It was snug around the waist. You know, it's serviceable, but got a little monotonous.
You're calling those dad jeans?
Oh, yeah.
No.
No,
that was a special gene. Okay, it accentuated his ass, right? He's in good shape. He's a good-looking man in shape.
Good-looking man. That guy's got like a pound of makeup on. His skin is horrible.
He looks salt of the earth. He looks like a blue-collar mountain man. You could put him on a horse, give him a hat. He's out. He's rugged.
Sure could.
He could be out on a king crab ship out in the bay up in the northwest off Alaska. He could be out there like rigging up ropes on a mountain. He's a rugged guy.
Okay, you've shifted from good looking to rugged.
Well, I think there's something about that. He's a weathered man. Like, he looks like he's been through some shit. He's an attractive man, I think. And those jeans also, they have that special like area in the front of the crotch that I think I don't know if those were custom made for wrestlers, but that was not a dad jean.
I think that's what a standard pair of 501s look like in 88. Pretty sure.
We'll have to go back and look, but no, I don't think a general dad could have worn those the way. And he had a belt on, which I was thankful for.
Keith David also. He wore his belt with his tools for like half the movie. You carried a backpack with your tools in it. You had to have your tool belt. Good quality saddle leather.
A nice, some tank tops.
Yeah, you got to have tank top covered by your plaid shirt. Little flannel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Durable.
Yeah.
Durable America.
Good pair of work boots.
Mm-hmm.
Until you decide to start shoveling shirtless. And I think that's when he got into trouble.
Well, a hacker takes over TV broadcasts, alerting that humanity is, quote, their cattle. And the only way to unfold the truth is to shut off the signal at its source. Those watching the broadcast complain of headaches. Nada follows Gilbert and the preacher into a church and witnesses a meeting of a resistance movement. The shantytown and church are soon destroyed in a police raid, and the hacker and preacher are brutalized by law enforcement officers.
So this resistance group, Nada's been in town for a day, right? He stumbled in, he walked around, he tried to get a job, it didn't work. Then he gets hooked up at the construction site. And then he goes into this homeless camp, right? And this resistance group, it is the worst kept secret. Any kind of resistance, if the French had done this in World War II, the Nazis would still run most of Europe, right? There was no underground resistance. This is out in the open. This base basically exists next to a large homeless encampment. Rowdy just strolls on through and, hey, look, the back door is open. No guards, no locks, nothing. Their entire operation's out in the open. They've got the manufacturer. It would be like a cocaine manufacturer. You see the product, they're assembling it, they're putting it together, they're boxing it, they're getting ready to ship it. There was probably paperwork there that showed you every single other cell, addresses, people's name. It was all, they even write down the wall, they live, we sleep. It's not subtle. The aliens have control of the whole planet, but they've not discovered this out. And I'm surprised they didn't just have like a window where you could come up and they'd give you a pair of glasses. That's how obvious it was.
Before we get accused of not knowing our World War II history, we don't believe that the sneaky French were the reason that the Nazis were defeated. We know it was largely in part, mostly,
Yes,
because of the Soviets and their valiant efforts on the Eastern Front. But Big D, you're right. This is the world's worst kept secret resistance. And you could chalk that first one up to them being naive. Maybe this was the first time they got their production line together, the first time they had a meeting and it got raided. But they don't learn lessons from that first raid. The night before the raid, you got a police helicopter hovering overhead and this random drifter stumbles on your whole operation, which tells you two things. One, you need to move now because your location is known. If we were secretly doing this podcast, okay, and I kept looking out the window and a cop car kept rolling by, I'd be like, hey, Big D, I got to record from somewhere else. This is no longer safe. But two, you need lookouts. You need lookouts posted outside your clandestine meeting. And sadly, even after getting their asses absolutely kicked at this meeting, the resistance, they don't learn. The next time they get everybody together again with weapons and now contact lenses, they get raided again because nobody was looking out the window. Cops are literally coming through the windows, like hundreds of them armed, and nobody noticed.
So I'm going to assume that everybody pretty much in the homeless camp knew what it was, right? They seem to be on a first name basis with a lot of the guys. Maybe that's why they weren't raided right away. But Gene, not the stereotype, but what happens around like areas with homeless people, maybe some drug abuse, the
Prostitution.
Okay, what else?
Soup.
Crime in general, right?
Oh, yes.
Right? You don't think somebody's going to think to rob the church? Hey, I saw the church doors open. They've got boxes of merchandise. Let's go take a look at what's in there. Then that would have worked. It just cracked the case. That's it,
Yeah.
Gene. You have the distribution method right next door. You got to get the glasses into the hands of people. You just say, oops, hey, homeless people, here's the boxes of glasses. They steal them. They're selling them on every street corner.
It's like how you kill termites or an ant trap, right? You put the poison in there, they take it and they go share it with everybody else.
So not that I want to compare homeless Americans to birds, but I saw a video today, and I don't know if it's AI or fake, in Sweden, and that's why I believe it's real. The Swedes have trained crows and other birds to pick up trash. So if they pick up a piece of trash, they put it into this receptacle and it like puts out some food. So they've trained the birds to clean up. I want that for the homeless. I think that's what we should have done because these glasses, I'm an advocate for the unhoused, Gene, so I'm not trying to be flippant with it, but in the world of the movie, I'm saying,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. In the cinematic fantasy realm, right? That's what I would do because the movie treats these sunglasses as like a delicate contraband that they don't really think they could use, because they don't seem to see the benefit of it. They're like, we can't make enough glasses. Although we're never going to be able to convince enough people. Why? 2 pairs of glasses, essentially, brought down the entire system. 2 pairs of glasses, right? All it takes is one person. It's like networking. We're like a multi-level marketing company, Gene.
Yeah.
I give you 10 pairs of glasses, then you give those out to 10 people. They give them out to 10 people. It spreads exponentially. Before you get tens, hundreds, thousands. That way, if you're losing people to the police, it doesn't matter. You could still do it. And I think that the resistance, they're focused on secrecy and they're worried about when to act. The real strategy should have been just mass exposure. Go out and do it as a promotional item. Slap a Nike logo on the side. Go outside a baseball game. Just go stand outside and hand them out on the corner. That's all you have to do. You're a marketing professional, Gene, right?
Yeah.
There was no digital marketing back then. So we're going to put you back. You're in the resistance. You've got your fancy hat on and your mustache and you're planning. How would you market getting these glasses out to as many people as possible?
So we need to establish a couple of parameters about the function of these sunglasses first, okay? So we can assume that what the sunglasses are actually doing is blocking a transmission, right? Rather than changing the visible spectrum. It's not like they're letting you see something that is invisible to the naked eye. They're actually letting you see something that that is being blocked from your eyes, right? Therefore, you can't just put them on a TV camera. Because if that was all it was, you put on a TV camera, you hack and you broadcast a street outside, right? And everyone be like, yeah, that's a little weird, and show people what you're trying to say. So TV camera is out, broadcast is out, but assuming you don't need to cover costs, like assuming that you are giving these things out at a loss, the simplest method is kind of what you described. You mail them out. You mail them out to influencers, right? Journalists, political leaders, scientists, because you can ship stuff while staying anonymous. And that first round that you send out, no one's going to see that one coming, right? After that, they're probably going to shut down the postal service, but they're out already, right? Then you could do, boxes left out in the street, whatever. But who isn't going to try on a free pair of sunglasses? Big D, that the other day when I got that mystery package and I used, my sapper skills to disarm it. Did ordnance disposal out in my yard, right? That freaked me out because I didn't know what was in the box. But if I get a box and I got sunglasses in it, I'm putting those things on.
And you've already got one facility that's making the lenses. You didn't build some kind of a more thorough network. We see the aliens have this crazy technology. I didn't remember the wristwatches that they can just boop, like teleport, and then their whole communication thing. I would have thought that's a dead giveaway, right? In the world before phones, if you saw people, Gene, in 1988, like they're looking at us, they're looking. Aren't you gonna? What's that?
I don't think people notice it. I think you have to be a sunglass person to notice them talking in their watches.
So the spectrum is their entire action?
I think so, yeah. And that might even explain why people won't try on the sunglasses, because they're being conditioned not to, right? Not that they know that sunglasses exist, but like anything that's out of the ordinary or a weird thing you're being asked to do, don't do it. Like stay within the fold, like that's the message. You have to get your brain unlocked by the glasses.
But I have to ask this also, right? We see the world and we see like the newsstand, the bank, we see the hairdresser. Yeah. Why are the aliens even bothering to go through the normal day of pretending? You're an overlord. You're running it from up on high. Why are you out reading a magazine that doesn't have anything but subliminal messages?
Well, it has other content. It's just the subliminal message is embedded. But that's exactly what I don't get about this entire premise. Why would the aliens be slumming it with us? They're getting chummy with people. They're talking with them about their day. We see them at the grocery store doing their own grocery shopping. They're working as beat cops, like a pretty dangerous job in this world. You think that they would all be elites, or as we now call them, the predator class?
How did you get that job? You'd be like, you teleport from Alpha Centauri or wherever the hell you are into the ground. And they're like, hey, by the way, you're going to be a garbage man.
Yeah. I think even among the aliens, they're racist. Some of them were splotchier than others. Those are the under aliens.
Yeah. You watched V, obviously. The other big 80s, where the visitors come down, but they're lizard people.
Yeah.
I like that in there. There were some traitors within the visitors. I wish we had a traitor or two in the mists who would have told that it wasn't just the homeless guy who sold out the human race. I wish there was a couple that said, hey, this is what it was. Here's our weaknesses. You could have done it cost effectively, and it would have put a wrinkle on, like you said, there's a class structure even within these capitalist aliens.
Well, Nada finds sunglasses in a box he took from the church that decode subliminal messages in the media and reveal that people are aliens hiding under human facades. The aliens have wristwatch communicators that allow them to teleport along with surveillance drones. When two alien police officers confront Nada, he kills them, takes their guns, and massacres aliens at a nearby bank. He escapes with a human hostage, Holly Thompson, who throws him out of her apartment window.
So I don't know if this is Roddy as an actor, because this was like, I don't know if he acted after this again, other than himself in some other films about wrestling, but I don't know if he wasn't able to convey the nuance of surprise and discovery and suspense, because he finally gets the glasses on. He goes out to the newsstand, and not about 15 times, Gene, takes the glasses off, puts them back on, takes the glasses off, puts them back on. Each time he sees obey. Okay, he sees the aliens look like skeletons. He sees the system's rigged. And you're thinking, dude, calm down. Don't be so obvious. There's other people looking at you. You've got the glasses on, you're taking them on and off. We know they're running the whole system. They're immediately going to be watching you, right? And then I thought maybe this is what really happens, because we live in a world of conspiracies now on the internet. And I was wondering if there is that moment, right, where somebody's online and they're deep down a QAnon rabbit hole. And they find that one piece of information, that one post, and they're like, holy shit, I see it. I see it. Or a 9/11 like inside conspiracy believer, or a flat earther. When they find that nugget, they think they're Neo in the Matrix Code, and they can't do anything but run around and scream it to their friends. I've seen it. I've seen the secret. So maybe do you think this is how people would act if they found this secret?
I think that you and I unwillingly are elitists. Like we're kind of snooty. We are in the population, the smaller population of Americans that are fairly literate. We're smart enough to run a podcast. We, are discerning about our news sources. We would be subtle if we were to stumble upon something huge and life-changing. But I don't think that's the average everyday Joe. I think average American guy, like in 1988, is Roddy Piper here, is nada, right? They'd be like, oh, man. Like they might even be more like crazy about it. No, he's hurling out insults too. He's like, damn, formaldehyde face. Look at her. You're cool. What the hell is that? And it takes him a while to catch on, sure. But I love that unlike other heroes we've had in movies, Nada, he like immediately springs into action. You mentioned The Matrix. Like in most movies like The Matrix, you got the protagonist and he needs like some convincing, like some hand holding. And he'll usually, you see him, he'll underestimate the threat or like he'll underreact. Like what I'm seeing isn't real. It's not real. I just got to go to bed. I got to close my eyes. And then someone's got to like rescue him. Not here. Not as like, oh shit, aliens, they have guns. And he just starts blasting. He's gone from the hunted to the hunter. He walks into that bank. He sees an alien. It's a dead alien.
Dude, he read that fake news report about the kids being abducted in the basement of that pizza place.
Yeah, pizza.
He armed up and fucking ran down there.
I love that he caps two cops, no questions asked.
No,
fucking, you're dead. You're dead.
I also would have liked to have seen like one of the cops be like, why did you shoot us? We weren't hurting anyone. You're aliens. Yeah, but we're kind of taking care of you. And he's like, this was my buddy. And he's bleeding out. There's no remorse for any of the aliens.
There's some of them just at the bank. They're literally just making a deposit. Dead.
Women.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised there weren't any children. Would he have shot a child alien? If the child alien was like
1,000%.
Just blasted him.
It would have been that scene in Fallout Season 2, just with all the ghouls. Just dead ghouls. And Big D, we've seen our share of wrestlers turn movie stars here at Shat The Movies. We had Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Jesse Ventura, and we mentioned John Cena in our Twins episode. But I'm surprised, even with all of them and the success of Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Batista, that more studios don't just snatch up pro wrestling talent all the time for sci-fi, fantasy, action roles. These guys and gals, they're incredible at making sense out of bad scripts. They're entertaining on screen, and they're all really good at acting hurt. Like when Roddy Piper, he gets thrown out of Holly's window. He does like a flip going out of there, and it's up there. Like she lives in the hills, and he hits the ground. He's immediately busting out all the pro wrestling classic. There's like the stumbling around the ring. He's doing that. He's doing the thing to holding his side to like show you that he's hurt in some nondescript way. He's shaking his head to like get the cobwebs out. And then he does that thing where he like sits on the ground for a while and like, get up, Roddy, get up. And he's just sitting there. He's sliding down surfaces. And I don't know if it's just the wrestling fan in me, but I love this sort of like just hamming up the pain.
See, so again, I'm not a modern wrestling fan. But I remember my father taking me to the Westchester Convention Center, maybe 83, 82. And it was Snuka was there.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka?
Yes.
In the flesh?
You had Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik with the tag team.
Fuck you.
I think Bruno Martinez, like the old guy who was just like a regular, he used to be like a quasi real wrestler. There was a whole bunch of them. Coco Beware. I loved it. I had the wrestling dolls, the whole thing. There's a difference that even though all wrestling, we know, yes, it's theatrical, but there's a danger to it. I think like most things, whether it's stuntmen or anything back, football. Look at football in the 80s, right? People, you could target someone's head. If you had a concussion, you got back out there. There's a difference. When Roddy goes out the window, I thought, oh my God, that poor man. He looks broken. He looks hurt. He looks like he's really in pain. This isn't like today where these guys are trained to maybe fall better. You live out west. Have you been to like Comic-Con or any of the movie cons or Moped Con?
Fuck, now speaking of being elitist, I used to go to San Diego Comic-Con with the King Bee before it was like insane. Like before there was like waiting lists for tickets and you had to pay to meet people. Like it was back when it was like wholesome and, you know, sort of.
Before it was trendy?
I don't want to say trendy. No, before it was, again, talking about They Live, before it was commercialized, right? When it was an honest, you went there to meet the artists, like meeting like Stan Sakai, meeting guys and saying like, hey, can you like sign my sketchbook? And when you go to panels, it was about comic books. It wasn't about like the latest TV show or what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not that I look down on that stuff. I'm just saying that's the era that I went in, and it's been years. I think I went to that. I went to Wizard World, obviously, in Chicago. But no, it's been years since I went to one of those cons.
Because I saw one recently, and the guys look, the signature booths. Who's the guy who used to wear like chainmail on his head, and he had like a white beard, pointy?
King Arthur?
No, these dudes look beat up and hurt. And again, there's a genuine nature where I felt like Roddy was getting hurt in these scenes.
Nada retrieves another pair of sunglasses and has to fight Frank before Frank will put them on. Gilbert introduces them to the human resistance, and Holly brings information about where this signal may be originating. The meeting is raided and many people die. Frank activates an alien wristwatch, opening a portal to the alien spaceport under Cable 54, an alien-run news network.
So there's a couple things. If you ask people about this movie, what they remember, they'll remember the messages, the obey, the consume, the marry and reproduce, no independent thought. They'll remember the sunglasses. They'll remember the fight. And I think the most important one, they'll remember the aliens. Like when you see that first reveal of them on the street, and it's frightening. It's immediately creepy. There's just like they look like they're surprised, and the eyes and the skeleton and the teeth. And the child in me, Gene, spoke out. It creeped me out on a level that wasn't just, hey, that's a cool special effect. We've done this podcast a while. They look like the Slee Stacks from Land of the Lost that I grew up watching as a kid. And that fueled nightmares for me. They've got the long face, those hollow eyes. There's that weird expression, and their mouths don't move when they talk. Last week, I talked about Sasquatch and my fear of Sasquatch snatching me through a window. These Slee Stacks and the noise they make, it still triggered me. So that's 2 weeks in a row I've confessed a childhood fear. I assume most people have something that's stuck with them. Do you have anything from your childhood that now when you think of it makes the hairs on your neck stand up, or something that brings you back to that moment of a kid being afraid?
So looking at it now, it doesn't freak me out at all, and this is super embarrassing, but at the time when I was a little kid, Duran Duran had a music video for Wild Boys.
Uh-huh.
Wild. There's like, you look at it now and they're like basically like artsy dancers.
Yeah, it was like a Cirque du Soleil on a box, right?
Sort of, yeah. They're like post-apocalyptic, like they almost look like war boys kind of dancers. And then Simon is strapped to this like torture windmill, and it keeps dunking him in the water. So he's like singing and he keeps repeatedly getting dunked in the water. And then there's like trampolines and dude with like Da Vinci wings attached to them. Then he's like being forced to, oddly enough, relevant to this, he's like being strapped down and forced to watch like this subliminal programming. That shit gave me so many nightmares, but they translated. It wasn't what was going on in that video. It was the people from that video would come in spaceships and land outside our apartment. It was always when my mom was at my aunt's house. So we grew up in an apartment complex where all the aunties lived in one complex. And so on a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, mom would put you to bed, and then she would go hang out with the other aunties, and they would drink tea and like gab all night or whatever. And when I say all night, I mean from like 8 to 10 p.m. Right? And then she would come home.
Mm-hmm.
But I would go to bed, and I would have these nightmares that mom is gone, and the people from the Duran Duran Wild Boys video would show up at my window. And this is the thing. They wanted to collect teeth. They were teeth eaters. And I would always, and I don't like, this might be Freudian, I would always offer them my penis.
No.
If you take me to my mom, you can have my penis. Who wants teeth? I'll give you a whole 6-year-old's penis. And that's what that video did to my brain.
I think we're going to come one day, we're going to peel back that last layer of the onion. I think there was something traumatic that happened to you. You had the
While
one
I was
aunt,
watching Wild Boys?
No, you had the one aunt who talked about the little patch above your little boy penis and your underwear.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Do you think there's a chance one week we peel off a layer and it just some memory is released?
Yeah,
because
so
no child is afraid of the Wild Boys and Duran Duran in a Cirque du Soleil version of the Thunderdome coming for teeth, and you offer them your penis.
Let me add a dimension to this, though. My favorite thing to do when I was a little kid is my mom would wake me up when I was in my jammies, and we'd get in her Toyota Celica, and we would open up the moonroof, and then we would drive up Camelback Mountain in the night. In Arizona back then, it wasn't very well lit. It was fairly dark, right? You see one light every few miles. And we would put on Hungry Like the Wolf, blasted on the Celica's like cassette player. And I loved that. That didn't scare me at all. I felt alive. I felt like I don't think I knew what vampires were at the time, but like that was the feeling I get when I walk out at night now in like the French Quarter and I'm just waiting for Louis and Lestat to come get me. Something's going on there. Something deep.
I can't wait to be there that one day when it all comes apart.
Yeah. We got to get in touch with that breathing therapist guy. Remember him?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe he can work me through this.
We're slowly pulling on the threads of your subconscious. And one day I'm afraid that this is going to come out.
I got another one for you. Did you ever watch Max Headroom, the TV show?
Of course. Yes.
Okay, did you ever see the Rakers episode?
No.
So Rakers was an episode where there were teenagers who were on like scooters and they had these claws and they would try to like skin each other in a game. It was like a gladiator game, right? And you would collect the skins as like your trophies or whatever. And I was always convinced when I was a little kid that I would have nightmares about the Rakers like coming to get my skin, specifically off the back of my neck, and like keep it. So
as a new father, remember these moments. Mm-hmm. What you have on TV, your daughter will see, and one day she will share with her therapist that the Rakers in Max Headroom, and I think that episode was probably written by George R.R. Martin. He wrote for that show.
Really?
Yes, that's what made him finally give up on writing for TV, and he went and wrote Game of Thrones. So yes, so your daughter one day will talk to her therapist about something you have on TV.
Well, so far right now, she has seen A Night of the 7/9 Kingdoms. I finally finished it this week because last night she woke up at 2 a.m. and would not go back to sleep. So I was like, fuck it. We're doing a marathon. And I finished the last 3 episodes in one go. It was great. Loved it. She's also seen Fallout, season 2, episodes 1 through 4. She's also watched The Pit. And the King Bee came over today, and now she has seen The Backyardigans. So thanks, King Bee. We learned about Calypso, and it put her to bed, and pirates and huts and castaways. But the thing that she has seen more of than anything else on television is Maine Cabin Masters. And I think that's very safe for a child to watch.
Let's hope.
Now, Big D, onto the fight. There is a fight that is so long and so grand and so over the top that Family Guy did a whole scene on it where Peter's fighting the chicken. It comes down to Frank and Nada. And when we first meet those guys, Frank is telling Nada that life is like a race where everyone's willing to screw over everyone else to win. And Nada seems like the naive one, right? And Frank is telling me, some people start off ahead. They got an inherent advantage. And Nada, he's like, no. He offers a different view. Let's call it the boomer view, right? I believe in America. I think everyone who works hard and plays fair is eventually going to get ahead. But then they seem to switch positions after the glasses come into play, right? Like suddenly Nada is like, hey, there's something going on. And Frank's like, I don't want to know about it. And it seems hypocritical. It seems like they didn't get the characters right. And I was so annoyed until I understood that John Carpenter is trying to illustrate intersectionality, right? Frank is telling Nada that he wants nothing to do with uncovering that conspiracy. And he just wants to earn for his wife and daughter back in Detroit. And you realize that they have two different fights and they see the world is rigged in two different ways, but they have different fights. Frank's fight is economic. He doesn't give a fuck about aliens or any other. He doesn't want to get into trouble. He just wants to get ahead in the economic system, keep his head down and work. Nada's fight is preservationist, right? As you said, he wants to kill aliens, whether they be adults or children or cops or just people at the bank, right? And they have to find that intersection to bring their fight together. And that's intersectionality, right? It's when somebody who cares about gay rights and somebody who cares about the economy and somebody who cares about staying out of wars all get together and they go, hey, what do we have in common, right? We want the little guy to stop getting screwed. We want the person who's been marginalized to finally have a chance. Now, in this movie, it happens to manifest in an actual fight, and it is fucking glorious.
You see, but I think they just wanted, I know we can read all of this into it, right?
Sure.
But the motivation, I think, in the beginning was you needed him to be this principled, idealistic do-gooder. He is going to be the protagonist. He is all, I'm going to earn my keep. I'm going to work for it. Even when the system is clearly against him, he keeps going for it. And then you have Frank, who has the family, obviously, he's got to care about. But the problem I have isn't that they switch, it's how quickly he abandons that. There's not one question where he thinks, man, I've been living with the screen over my eyes, with the filter or whatever it is. He immediately flips. And then also the question that Frank is so damn resistant to just seeing it, but the fight itself. Listen, it's glorious.
It's so good.
I believe it's 6 minutes. And it's not just 6 minutes of like John Wick, right? Which is like fast hand movement and people getting their ass kicked. In the middle, there's moments of like comedy where he breaks the back window and he's like, sorry, woo, and they laugh and then they fight again and they're throwing each other around. It is legendary. And you have to agree, without this fight, whether it's fits in the movie, it has cemented it as a cult classic.
I don't know if you remember, of course you remember, when the King Bee and I almost came to blows in New Orleans during my bachelor party, where I like shoved him in the street and, it didn't go much farther than that, right? I think I shoved him a couple times.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah. But it is that sort of thing where it's like, you can be so angry with a person where you want to commit violence, but there is a moment where you're like, oh shit, that went a little too far. And they played it out so well where Roddy Piper, he swings this big piece of lumber and it smashes the window and he realizes like that could have been Frank. Holy shit, I'm using a weapon against this guy. I don't want to do that. But they proceed to like suplex and pile drive and bash each other in the nuts. A fucking standing knee to a downed opponent to the dick. It's pretty extreme.
No, and they had like mats on the floor, right? So it was some padding. But this is like, I feel like we had the Smokey and the Bandit or the car chases, right?
Yeah.
Of the time frame where the dudes didn't have like real harnesses. They weren't putting complete roll cages. There's an element of danger. These two dudes weren't getting stunt doubles. They were doing this and they were actually hitting each other and they were actually getting hurt. And this film, this shit would never happen today. Could you imagine two stars of a film literally beating the shit out of each other and it getting in there? There's no way. And it is so legendary and such a stamp of the time.
At the spaceport, Nada and Frank are approached by a drifter from the shantytown, now a collaborator. He shows them where the aliens broadcast their signal. Nada and Frank locate Holly and fight their way to the transmitter on the roof, but Holly, a collaborator, murders Frank. Nada kills Holly and blasts the transmitter, but he is fatally shot. With the signal shutting down, he gives his killers the middle finger as humans all over the world discover aliens hiding among them.
So this plot is not original. We've seen it plenty of times, whether it's like an alien, a demon, you've got monsters, you've got robots. They're going to conquer the earth and or destroy or like enslave humanity. But the movie sets it up in a way that just completely subverted my expectation, because normally the aliens want to terraform the planet, or they want to take it over. Their home world was destroyed and they want to eliminate humanity or enslave us physically, not just mentally. But when the scientist reveals what the true plot is, I was surprised. I would never have expected that aliens are essentially free market opportunists from space, who see Earth as an economic playground, and that they're not here to kill humans. I don't even see that they want to punish them. They don't want to torture them. Is there a chance maybe that Nada and Frank, they would have let them live? They just would have said, dudes, keep the secret. Listen, I know the system's not fair, but we're a benevolent alien species that just wants to sell our product. You know, we're not going to hurt anyone. This is not a usual invasion narrative. And I'm convinced, and maybe I'm fucked up for this and you're going to shoot me down, because they're not nefarious. We don't see them turning humans into food. We don't see them murdering babies. We don't see them doing anything other than manipulating the economic system. That's what people do right now. Yeah. If I had the option, if they came to me and they said, listen, just work with us here, right? The system works. People who actually go out and work hard, they will advance. But in the end, the one who benefits is us. We keep the planet safe. There's other marauders. There's other aliens out there that maybe they're socialist aliens, Gene, or communist aliens.
Hell yeah.
The best aliens are the capitalist free market aliens. I would, if they came to me, I think I might sell out as long as I saw people weren't really being made to suffer. Could you become a collaborator?
No. I mean, I say that as a current collaborator in a current system, and we should throw out this term free market to begin with. They are not free market like entrepreneurs and economists. They are controlling the entire market.
Well, they're controlling it for their species. But I believe within their species, there are, I think...
Yeah, that's called imperialism. They're imperialists. So, I mean, yeah, it is us. We're enjoying the fruits of this. Yeah, it
right,
is
so
us.
It's basically humanity, right?
That's basically the West.
Correct. So
Yeah.
it's not some foreign structure, a foreign system. We're living within it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point of sci-fi, right? Is to highlight the things that we're doing ourselves, but just to put it in a different environment. This is exactly what's going on here. It's right. You go into other countries, or even your own country, you control media. And I kept thinking while I was watching this that like how much more nefarious things are right now than in this movie. Because in this movie, they're controlling, like they're hiding among us and they're controlling media writ large. And they have like these surveillance drones, right? But they don't have AI, like mass consuming all of our data. They don't have enshittification. Like you can still go to a hotel and pay in cash and just hide out for a while. There is still hiding, right? You have to be really bad to get caught, as we see with the Resistance. So right now, I mean, it's like they live on steroids.
Did you find yourself frustrated with the Resistance?
Yeah.
It's one of the problems I have today with is it's political, right? Whatever you oppose, traditionally, I feel like resistances are generally paralyzed by fear. Mm-hmm. It seems like today a lot of our leaders, Gene, are paralyzed by optics and, I don't know, we should just wait. Should we do some research? Oh, they're all hung up. I think there's a line in the movie. Why are you guys so concerned about how this started and why they're here instead of acting? Most resistances, it seems like, waste so much time being frozen, either in fear or indecision, with doing what you need to take action.
I mean, it's why it's so satisfying when people actually punch Nazis. They're right there. Yes, there's a First Amendment, but fucking punch that guy. It's hypocritical because I could go to like Costco, and if I see some dude who's got like a fucking racist t-shirt on, I'm not kicking his ass on the spot. I should.
I think more people should get hit. We talked about that. We need people on both sides. Bad people on both sides that need to be punched.
But don't both sides this shit. Come on now.
It was a joke. I was doing it on purpose. I was being funny.
When the Rebel Alliance took out the Death Star the first time, It was a massive achievement. We all cheered because they had to go through so much and get so much right. They had to steal the plans, right? Smuggle the plans. People died. People sacrificed. A mission had to be planned. We knew what they had to accomplish going in, and it took perfect precision. Luke had to use the Force to pull off the impossible, shot down the vent, using the weapon's one vulnerability. I'll buy it. It's fantastic, but I'll buy it. These aliens, you talk about this resistance being ineffective. They are using an exposed satellite dish array on top of the studio where we know the anchors are clearly aliens. When you cut off the signal, people get headaches. Might be an indicator that Channel 54 has something to do with it. They happen to have a high-rise building in the middle of the city, which happens to have satellite dishes on top. Gee, where could the transmission be coming from? And the fact that it didn't take dynamite. You didn't have to do C4. You didn't have to drop a bomb on it. A bullet from a pocket pistol could take out each transmitter. And that tells me that the aliens, they're not that slick. They're not that tough. The resistance is just inept.
Yeah, and I love the fact that what undoes them is they're associating with some idiot human being.
Yeah.
The idiot human being walks them through security, walks them into the most vulnerable place where they should be, right? If these aliens have, obviously they're not too selective with who they collaborate with, but Gene, we both work in some form of IT. IT generally sucks. IT often makes mistakes. Systems go down. You're telling me in all these years worldwide that these cloaking devices worldwide, not one has gone down? I find that hard to believe.
Oh, they're really good at it. It's not human IT. It's alien IT.
Okay. So Gene, I have one more final question. We see in the final shot, as the transmitter goes down, the world sees what's going on. What do you think happens next? I have such a cynical and pessimistic view of humanity. I think in the beginning there would be shock. Then the propaganda machine of the aliens would come out and they would say, listen, we actually saved you from extinction. We're here to protect you. We're here to help you. We cured these diseases. I think that the aliens would be able to convince 48% of humanity that they're not bad. And this doesn't end in really bloodshed for a long period of time, other than civil unrest early on. I think the aliens can survive this with some good PR.
I don't know. This is America in 1988. I think they're getting fucking massacred.
What if they said, hey, we're angels? We're angels.
Fuck.
Hey, everyone, we're angels. I think then people would be like, well, they said they're angels. I think it could work.
They still got their teleporters. You would think they would use in the bank shootout. Anyway, now's the time in the podcast we give our Shat score for They Live. The Shat score is our way of telling you how many wipes the movie takes to get off your respective butt. 0 wipes is the perfect movie. It's when you ain't daddy's little boy no more. And 5 wipes is an absolute disaster of a film. It's when you look like your head fell in the cheese dip back in 1957. Big D, please do the honors.
So you've talked me down a bit. I was originally going to go 2.25. I think I'm going to go 2. I don't know that I can go any less, but I think I can't hold the limitations of the budget against them. I mean, I respect the hell out of Carpenter, what he was trying to do here, the tiny budget. And the idea, I think the message is great. I think about media and consumer culture, and I think it's pretty sharp for the time. And you know it was good because people had a problem with it. The critics all just went after it, where this is a universal topic. I think any point from the 80s on, you could make this same argument about the consumer culture. I think the sunglasses are iconic. The fight is iconic. And the fact that a $3 million movie has lasted the test of time and is loved by so many movie lovers. You got to give it some credit. So I think it's 2 wipe, and I feel bad already about going that high.
I'm right around there, Big D. I can't remember a time when I said cool out loud more times than I did while watching They Live. I'm not saying it is a cinematic masterpiece. What I'm saying is they just got the cool factor down a lot. The sunglasses, as you mentioned, cool. The aliens are cool. We get to see dirty cops and rich people get blasted. Roddy Piper, he just represents all the best parts of the 80s that really obvious realizations, the sense of right and wrong, just kicking ass, and a hero who flips off the bad guys as he dies. Like that's priceless. There's clearly some amateur talent on screen. Not everybody in this movie is going to win an Academy Award at any point in their life, but I pray that they never remake this movie into something gritty and scary, because after all, even though it established a lot of things culturally as landmarks, it's just so much fun. It's a silly, fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm coming in at 1.5 wipes.
I agree. It would be depressing if you made this like a mini series on HBO. It would about manipulate. Oh,
yeah,
and just watching how like it would be some like big tech company, and they would be just manipulating children with their algorithm and their feeds. You couldn't do. You needed this. 2 films now, right? Back to the Future, that trilogy we don't remake, and They Live. Is that the only list? That's it.
Everything else, remake them all.
Everything else is up for grabs. Okay, with 1.75 wipes, that now ties this in the 166 spot with Friday, Halloween 4, Temple of Doom, After Hours, Payback, Excalibur, and Thelma and Louise. How many innocent families? These aliens might have been benevolent. They might have been like, imagine the news. How many families like, why did they kill Robert? Robert, we had just gotten here from Andromeda.
Well, we get that sex scene with the alien at the end with the titties, and I'm thinking, listen, if you've got a lover, I'm assuming that you've had sex, you have a relationship, maybe. I might be putting too many roses and hearts on this thing, but like, do you break up?
No,
just because they're an alien?
That's why I asked it. I think she continues riding it. He just might need like some new fashion, like a baklava or like a male burqa.
Yeah.
You can't, that face, you can't make love.
Well, I think like with Fallout, there's going to be people who are actually like into ghouls. Like that's their thing.
But this isn't a ghoul.
It's a fetish for sure.
This isn't a
ghoul. I know it's not a ghoul, but it's a
What
ghoulish.
I mean is you can't have areas without flesh. That it goes too far. Really? What, you could? I'm sorry, you don't draw the line at...
No, I'm saying a person who wants to fuck a ghoul who has like no nose and is decaying is like, I think just as likely to fuck a person with no flesh on parts of their mouth.
And again, who are we, Gene? We've never done it. There might be something to it.
We're Shat The Movies is who we are. All right, before we close out, we got some voicemail for the pod. The first one comes from James from Woodstock, who is calling in about Body Slam.
What up, Shat crew? James from Woodstock here. Been a while since my last message, which I talked about a possible commission idea. However, when I approached my wife about spending the money, her exact response went something like this. What the fuck? You're not spending $150 fucking dollars on some fucking podcast. So, wanting to avoid a divorce, I'm just throwing out there an idea for a possible group commission. And this is for anyone out there who is a huge fan of the 80s and 90s WWF. And yeah, that's right, it's WWF. But especially if you were a kid like me watching faithfully every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Channel 32 in Chicago, I have the perfect movie. It stars Face from A-Team, Roddy Piper, Captain Lou Albano, a slew of 80s wrestlers, hair metal, a concept called rockin' wrestling, a cameo from Little Billy Barty, and last but not least, the man, the legend, Charles Nelson Riley. It's the 1986 classic Body Slam. And if anyone might be interested in helping get this on the schedule, I would be forever grateful. And it would save me from messy divorce as well. So anyways, thanks again, guys, for the awesome insight and entertainment you bring each and every episode. Rock on, dudes.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's very rare that we are just caught completely off guard. You've got a Rolls Royce that looks like it's been vandalized. You've got Face looking Miami Vice. That looks like a butler, or is that? Gene is speechless.
So I'm of two minds. One, if anybody wants to outright, let's give it a week. If anybody wants to outright commission Body Slam for James from Woodstock, I would love to do it. If that doesn't do it, then I think we are overdue probably for maybe a live special where we do a fundraiser for Body Slam to make sure that we can hit that target number real nice. However, I don't think we're going to do it at the discount price of $150. This movie, it's going to take some work. We might even have to buy it on DVD.
You know we're in trouble, Gene, because on the poster, you know how they normally give like reviews, like it'll be like thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. Here it says a genuinely funny film, and then you can't quite see who it's from.
James and marketing.
Some of our best film reviews have come from things that we just never expected. So,
all right. So let us know. You can write in to host at shatpod.com or use the SpeakPipe feature at shatpod.com to commission outright Body Slam for the low price of, what do I do this one for?
This is on you.
It's 2026. What do we do? $226.
Oh, God.
No?
Man, I hate the money thing. Sorry.
It's our 490th movie. No.
This would probably turn out to be like movie 500 or some like ridiculous.
No,
it would be
we're
some
way
milestone.
past 500 by the time we do this one. But let's make it a nice round 200. 200
I think that'd be
for
fair.
Body Slam. All right, cool. If anyone wants it for $200, Body Slam is available. If not, I'll set up a live episode where we get through some voicemail fundraiser for Body Slam. All right. Next up, Bo from DFW is calling in about Steel Magnolias.
Gene, Big D, how are you guys doing? It's Bo from DFW. I do believe I may have been the one to put Gene back on Cyberpunk 2077, and for that I do apologize. The reason I am calling is because my mother's birthday just passed, and she is no longer with us. So I was thinking December 14th next year, or at least the week of, would it be possible to get set in stone the movie Steel Magnolias from 1988? The movie was inescapable when it was new. I did watch it recently, didn't hate it. And by recently, I maybe 10 years ago. Also, it is so near and dear because I grew up pretty close to where the movie took place and was actually filmed. So, got some sentimental value there. And I figure, why not memorialize my mother in such a way? She did like movies after all. So, get back to me when you can, and I will be in touch. Later. That's Bo from DFW.
I would 100% would be down for that.
Yeah, December 14th. We can slip that in there. We got plenty of time to do it.
100%. But Gene, have you looked at the film yet?
Steel Magnolias?
Yes, because in my mind, I can't tell the difference between Steel Magnolias and fried green tomatoes.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just feel like I'm going to have to explain women to you. It's going to be amazing.
I can't remember much of the film other than something that happens to Julia Roberts.
Why don't they just come out and tell you they need a leg massage?
And why the men in their lives let them. That's a joke. That's like about the previous
Harry
movie.
and the Hendersons. Yeah,
Yes.
we got it.
So they get to Harry. Well, maybe people haven't listened to Harry and the Hendersons.
No, they listen to every episode. They get the joke.
We're on board.
Let's do it. Steel Magnolias. Let's go. It's not quite the Fisher King, but we'll get there. And if you're interested in commissioning a film or requesting a commission, you can write us host at shatpod.com or use the SpeakPipe feature at shatpod.com. Big D, what do we have coming up next week?
Gene, next week is a Mount Rushmore film franchise that started back in the 90s and continued into the 2020s. I believe there was just the international version of it with one of the Hemsworths. So working for a highly funded yet unofficial government agencies, K&J, or the Men in Black, providers of immigration services and regulatory, all things alien on Earth. Again, the ties, Gene, between the movies. Aliens on Earth. The MIB agents uncover a deadly plot of an intergalactic terrorist who is on a mission to assassinate two ambassadors from opposing galaxies currently residing in New York City. It's commissioned by Alexandra M. 97 this came out, and this isn't a case of like tonight's movie that was a $3 million budget. This was a big time summer 4th of July weekend blockbuster.
May I Roger Roper for a second?
Okay.
Same universe. Okay, so They Live happened. There's utter pandemonium. U.S. government's like, we got to get shit under control here. We know aliens exist now, but there's people murdering in the streets. Everyone's suspicious of everybody else. Everyone thinks that they might be a cloaked alien, even though they can see the aliens, whatever. And so they come up with a device that wipes people's memory so they don't remember the They Live massacre of 1988. But there are still aliens out there. So Men in Black, with their sunglasses that protect them from having their minds erased, right, can also see the aliens. It's the same universe, just fast forward 20 years.
It's moments like this that I'm glad Roger's not around. Love him, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Alexander, for the upcoming commission. Thank you, Mike and Tom in Midland, Texas, for your commissions. Thank you to all the commissioners who make this podcast possible. That concludes this week's episode of Shat The Movies. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat The Movies. You can email us, host@shatpod.com. Support the podcast by buying our merch or commissioning your own movie. Find all information by visiting our website, shatpod.com. Also, check out our sister podcast, Shat on TV, where we review TV series such as Lovecraft Country, Westworld, True Detective, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, and Watchmen. Find all information on our website, shatpod.com/TV, wherever fine podcasts be found, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, and if you stop by Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. It helps the podcast grow. On behalf of my co-host, Big D, I'm Gene Lyons. Join us next time for the following movie.
When extraterrestrials get out of control, there's only one solution.
We'll take it from here.
Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith.
Put your hands on your head.
Is that
This summer,
There's only one way off of this planet, baby. And that's through me.
they're protecting the Earth from the scum of the universe.
Doing fine, Ace.
Men in Black.
Don't ever touch that red button.
Rated PG-13.